Hello everyone, I'm Donnie. I'm one of the coaches from GCG Coaching, and I wanted to follow up today actually on a video that Aidan did last week about challenging your mindset and your viewpoint, and share one of my experiences where I was actually put in this exact scenario when I was playing rugby. But first of all, Aidan, man, if you're worried about your hair, you could always go for one of these awesome headbands that I've got going on. Anyway, okay, yeah, so just to set the scene a little bit, 2004-2005, coming up on the start of the Six Nations, I just started to kind of establish myself in the Scotland squad, and as I said, it was 4 or 5, maybe 6 weeks away from the start of the Six Nations. First game in Paris, always been on my list of places that I really wanted to experience international rugby. Unfortunately, I injured my knee, my left knee, in a training session. At the time, it was thought that it wasn't too serious and that with a minor knee operation, I'd be back hopefully within that time frame of 4 or 5 weeks and be available to be selected for the first game. Unfortunately, that wasn't to be the case. That knee injury turned out to be much more serious and actually required a complete reconstruction of the cartilage in that left knee. So I'd gone from 4 or 5 weeks on the sideline to 4 or 5 months on the sideline, including, I think it was 2 months on crutches, 2 months in a splint. Yeah, so that was the new situation that I found myself in. So just to kind of touch base with what Aidan said, so let's talk about the three kind of questions that are going on there. Like, what did I want to do in that situation? Well, I wanted to get back playing international rugby as quickly as I possibly could. That was the goal. Let's get back playing again. How would I approach that? So what do I think I needed to do in that situation? And my response to that is very much indicative of my identity that I carved out for myself, is that my work ethic is very important to me, and put me in any situation and I will work harder than you, and I will get to where I want to go because I'm prepared to push myself harder than anyone else around me. That was the identity that I carved out for myself, not just for myself, but also in the environment that Aidan talked about of Scottish rugby. That it was like my kind of thing that I'd gone, yeah, look at me, I'm one of the hardest workers. So there was that going on as well. So how would I deal with that situation? Right, so my work ethic's really important, so I'm going to charge into this head first. So even in this situation where I'm on crutches and in a splint, I'm like, right, what can I do? I've got to keep working hard. So I was in the gym, doing pull-ups, doing weights, all this sort of stuff. Even when I was kind of hobbling about, I was like, no, I still need to be working. It's really important that I'm pushing myself. That's who I am. So that was my solution. Work hard. More is better. And you kind of fast forward a little bit and you're looking at, so 4 or 5 months was you should be back playing by then. 8 months, 10 months down the line, still not back playing, knee's not getting any better, something's wrong. Yeah, so what was I doing during that spell? So as I said, my answer to everything was work harder, more is better. If 2 hours of physio and rehab is good, then 3 hours is going to be better, 4 hours is going to be even better than that. That's going to get me closer, that's going to keep me pushing towards that ultimate concern, that ultimate goal of getting back and playing again. So that's what I thought, that was my solution, that was my way of dealing with this. What did I actually need to do? I'm not saying I shouldn't have been rehabbing, I shouldn't be doing all this sort of stuff. All of that is part of the process of getting back to play again. But the particular way that I was approaching it, that more is better. If 4 hours is good, 5 hours is better. That was my mindset with it. And to suggest a different way, I'm going to be resistant to that. I'm going to deny it. You're talking crazy. Why are we doing less? Be better. And as bizarre as this might sound, it provided comfort for me during a very difficult time to have that structure and that training to kind of fall back on, to give me context in my life. I wasn't playing anymore, so I would be like, I'm going to train harder than anybody. I mean, that's just starting to kind of tiptoe into thinking about identity, and that's a whole other podcast. But it's very relevant to this particular subject of challenging your mindset, because what I needed somebody to say, your solution to this isn't actually the best solution in the long term, because you are bashing your head up against a brick wall here. So 8 months down the line, 10 months down the line, I think it was, I needed that objectivity, that people outside of my little circle to say, are you approaching this in the best way? Is this the most sustainable way of doing this? It wasn't, because I wasn't actually getting any closer to where I wanted to get to. I was actually going backwards. So sitting with that objectivity was provided by the team doctor, the team physio, the team surgeon, who basically banded together as a medical team and sat me down and said, you should have been back playing a couple of months ago. Something's not right. Your knee's not getting any better. Your approach, basically, isn't working. Whilst perhaps admirable, is actually you've created this situation where you're actually your own worst enemy. And the solution that they provided me with, which initially made me feel quite uncomfortable, was stop. Okay, you need to take 2 weeks, no physio, no rehab, no lifting weights, nothing. Because I'd basically gone from the hospital bed back to the gym, back to training, doing as much as I possibly could, and I hadn't stopped because I wanted to get back to playing again. But it had started to become counterproductive. So they said stop. And so I did for 2 weeks, did nothing, which is what they recommended. And the amazing thing about it was that my knee, which hadn't been responding to the physio, hadn't been getting better with the rehab, actually after that 2 weeks of complete rest, started to respond to the treatment and put me back on track to achieving the goal, which was back to playing rugby again. And as Aidan said, it's sometimes you need somebody objective to tell you, okay, this is what you're doing. How's it working for you? Is it not working? Okay, maybe you should actually try this. This is maybe what you need to do right now. And that might be difficult for you to accept, but let's look at the big picture. You want to get back playing again, maybe a little bit of short-term discomfort where we challenge who you are is worth it in the long run of getting back to ultimately what it is you want to do. Hopefully that made sense. And it was helpful to put some of the kind of theory of the challenging the mindset into kind of context and into a story. Thank you very much.